this word, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, takes you into paradise. I cannot express how grateful I am for Allah to have guided me to Islam.
Yeah, you know, but they're imperfect. Their belief in higher power is insufficient.
Prophet said that كل بني آدم خطأ. Every human being is imperfect.
Yes, I agree with that too.
No, but the point you are making.
Does it include the prophet?
No, but so khata is different. So the khata is khata. A prophet can do khata, because the hadith said the khata. كل بني آدم خطأ. Every human being does khata.
Sin.
Khata means mistakes. Okay, so a prophet can commit khata, can do a mistake. Clearly he did, because there were reprimands in the Quran. No, not satanic verse. Satanic verse, we don't believe in it. Yeah, it's inauthentic. It's not true. It's a fabrication of the hadith. Yeah. So, but what we're saying is, if everybody Adam and khata, all the human being makes mistakes. That even the prophets make mistakes, but not all prophets commit sin, like major sins and all sins, generally speaking. So that's the distinction that we would make. But going back to the point, look, your general argument falls flat on its face, because what you said is this: if you have somebody, who lived in an anti-Semitic or racist environment, he believes that Jews are bad. He believes that they are subhuman, whatever he believes, yeah. And then me and you, because we are good people, let's say, in one regard, we go to him and we say, listen.
Aren't you a good person in all regards?
We don't know. I mean, I'm not really actually. So I'll go to him and say to him, listen, this is false. You shouldn't believe in that, because human beings like everyone else. There's no genetic component. Right. Whatever argument we want to say, yeah. And he says, no, I don't agree because of whatever citation he gives. Now, I will say, after we've shown him the evidence, this guy's out of order. Would you agree with that? If he wants to maintain that these Jewish people are like subhumans, they're like animals, he's wrong. It's out of order, wrong, yeah? He's wrong. Oh, fantastic. Beautiful, yeah? I'm saying, look, therefore, me and you have accepted that if one holds a position which they are shown contradictory evidence to, yeah, and they still maintain that position, that they're wrong. So that's my position with religion. My position is that if someone takes the atheistic position, the pantheistic position, the polytheistic position, and then they're shown evidence against their tradition, and then they continue with that, say they're wrong. And so that's a moral value judgment.
But this evidence goes all ways. I mean, there's people around here proving the other way. And really, in my view, the problem is because the Quran was always there. So it's as perfect as God in your eyes. So therefore, you're not allowed to point out mistakes. And the Bible also has.
In fact, the Quran says go ahead and fight.
It's vulnerable like God himself. And I think even the prophets sort of like that. I don't know, maybe not. But certainly, and therefore, so I do take it literally. So what do you do? Okay, if the Quran says to do jihad, so I can use jihad and say, okay, it means a theological jihad, and that's maybe good. I can be doing and don't have to fight. Is that the simple meaning of the Quran? I don't know. Now it's comforts for me to say.
Yeah, so you're saying the obvious. I mean, so what? The point is, so what?
So the prices to pay. You said that consequence. The price to pay to God. Assuming God wants human beings, He made us 8 billion people. He loves us. He wants us to prosper. He wants us to good. He doesn't want us to kill each other or necessarily hate each other. So when I take my religion fully and accept everything, I do literally that. I pay also a price there, a theological price.
So
I maintain the fact that my religion is perfect and my text is perfect and nothing wrong.
Understand that. I believe
the price I pay
listen. Everything in life. Everything, I believe, almost any decision you make in life has a trade-off.
Yes.
Whether it's a psychological trade-off, a physiological one, or an economic one, or otherwise. If you decide that you want to do anything, there's going to be consequences, positive, negative, whatever you like. It doesn't mean just because there are consequences, there's a price to pay, as you keep saying, that one should be stopped from doing things.
Look, I told you, I live in Israel, Palestine, okay?
Okay.
Most of the Jews around here, certainly people look like me, okay? Believe the Jews was given the land to Israel by the Bible says, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of the Muslims there believe since Umar ibn Khattab came, basically it's a land, just like Spain and that. It's a land to stay by things.
Okay.
This complicates things.
So what?
People are killed, children are killed in Gaza. What do you mean, so what?
No.
God wants that to happen.
So
God wants
so you okay. See, you've deflected the fact that children are killed in Gaza
Yes.
But how is that connected to that we can believe in what we want to believe in, you can believe in whatever you believe, and it's different? How is that? How are the two things connected?
Because the totality of my beliefs, that if, for instance, I believe the whole land is mine, there's no room for Jews there, and Jews believe the whole land there's no really room.
I don't think you're being fair here. I don't think that's what's going on, by the way. I mean,
part of what's going
look.
On. And I'm not saying that
no, I don't agree with this whole thing. This now you've shown your cards. So look, at the end of the day, yes, you have. This is not an equal situation. What's going on in Palestine? Okay, yeah, good. So this idea that this narrative that just because we believe in something different from, like I believe in something different from you. The question is not whether let's have uniformity of belief, or let's have plurality. I understand. But it's funny because you kind of went against Nazism. We said we were against it, but your proposition is that we were
against the occupation.
No, but
against the
why is the only answer to how we should not be violent to each other as Muslims and Arabs or whatever it is and Jews? Why is the only answer that we have to start believing something different now religiously?
Not different. I don't want you not to be a Muslim.
No, I know, but you want me to believe in a specific. You want me to believe in a specific Islam, which places the eschaton as this place where everyone can enter it, and everyone can go to heaven.
I think.
Why is that the solution? Why is that the solution? Why is that the solution?
Because if I don't believe in total, where everyone who's not like me is not good in God's eyes, I can share. So what about the concept which really needs to happen as either two states, where the Palestinians get their own state, or that they have fully participant citizens and they can vote, and then it will be a one-state solution where it will be half. That's what the solution is.
Let me tell you something.
But when my ideology is no, the land should be only Jews. No, the land should only be for the Palestinians. Then the total thing, and religion plays a part in it. Not all Palestinians are Muslim, but about 95% are Sunni Muslims.
Religion plays a part. Let me tell you that. Okay, let me come back in. I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but let's say from 1948, from the establishment of the State of Israel up until like 1980, yeah, the biggest discourse that was from the Arab side was actually, first of all, the biggest organization was the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, yeah, and they were a nationalistic organization. They were not a religious one. Now you might not know this, but Israel actually funded Hamas. Now hold on, let me explain. Israel funded Hamas in 1980s. Because they understood this idea of an enemy is my friend. They saw that the major threat was the PLO, and that Hamas was a splinter group that could be a disturber to the PLO. So even despite the fact that the religious discourse was not the prevailing discourse from the years 1948 to 1980, before the establishment of Hamas, Hamas wasn't even established. All right, so even before the establishment of Hamas, even though the main discourse was actually a nationalistic one, yes, Arafat and all that kind of stuff, they weren't putting the Islamic discourse as the main thing. It was for them a Palestinian struggle. Yes, Islam was there as a supporting argument, but it wasn't the main one. And what I'm saying, in that time, even then you had issues. So the assumption is, let me finish. This assumption that if you remove religious belief that there's only one people that can go to heaven or something like that, or perennialism or universalism, it will lead to a better outcome in terms of casualty, deaths, and less wars, is one that's actually unsubstantiated in the literature, and in fact to the contrary. Because if you look at, this is a very basic argument, but if it was a lack of religiosity or religious exceptionalism, which would actually produces what you say it produces, which is a lack of wars, then why is it the case that we find the biggest casualties in human history occur at the hands of people who don't even believe in religion? For example, World War I and World War II. For example, the Holocaust itself. It wasn't necessarily because you are religious Jews. It was an ethnic issue. It was a racist thing. They were racist people. So the point is that it was a nationalistic struggle, okay? And what I'm saying to you is this assumption that the in-group, out-group preferential understanding, that this will be eliminated somehow if we remove religious eschatological exceptionalism or soteriological exceptionalism. I don't think that's something which is justified.
Not by itself, but it's two sides of the same coin. Obviously, nationalism, racism is much worse, okay? So you're a step above that, right? You don't think white people are better than black people or brown people think any of that, I assume, which is great. Certainly if they're all Muslims, they're your brothers just the same, which is great. But if someone's not your brother, is not a Muslim,
then what?
Well,
then what?
Well, they're not as loved by God. I don't know. They're not.
So what? So what?
What?
So what?
So, First
What?
of all, you're entitled to.
No. I mean, so what? How does that translate?
tell you what.
If I say, look, if I say to you, as a Muslim, أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ? The Quran says that very clearly. You're right. She will make the Muslims like the criminals. How is it that you judge? Muslims are, we believe, someone who believes in God. أَفَمَن يَعْلَمُ أَنَّ مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِن رَبِّكَ الْحَقُّ كَمَنْ هُوَ أَعْمَى إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. The Quran does say this. You know, in Surah Ra'd, that should we, أَفَمَن يَعْلَمُ, does the one who knows أَنَّمَا الْحَقُّ مِن رَبِّكَ, that the truth is revealed from Allah, كَمَنْ هُوَ أَعْمَى, is like the one who is blind. إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ, that the ones who have true knowledge will understand this point. In other words, we do not. From an intrinsic perspective, we say that someone who believes in God is in a soteriological and eschatological advantage. But it doesn't mean to say as a result of it now, we're going to start imposing measures or starting wars.
But some people do, right?
No, some people do that with people of their own faith. I want to ask the question. What evidence do you have that religious exceptionalism, or let's be very clear, religious soteriological or eschatological exceptionalism, or metaphysical exceptionalism, what evidence do you have that such exceptionalism creates more by way of violence and war
If it was only
than any other system?
If it was only eschatological exceptionism, I wouldn't have a problem. Because at the end of the day, let them come. They're always there to come. They never actually come. They're always, in the future, let's worry about them. Okay? But there are things happening in the world today.
What evidence do you have?
All the worry was that, when Jesus comes, everyone non-Christian and killed, and Muhammad comes and things, where's Jesus there, and the Masih and the Mahdi and everything, then it's fine. End of the day, let them come and then we'll worry about it. But the things that are happening today, now I agree with you, national acceptance is much worse. Racism and nationalism is much worse. That plays a big part. And I'm not for, I don't know if it's Hamas is more extreme, but I don't know if it's for what happened in Egypt, where the West is supporting Sisi, the dictator, just to the Muslim Muslims. I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong.
Okay, can I make this? Go ahead.
Okay, but let's say that all this is exceptionalism. I think, look, again, if I'm going back to where I live, some of the fighters, what's the problem there? Okay, from the Jewish side, well, whoever's not Jewish shouldn't be ruling this land, but this was given us to God. And for the Muslim side, what do they get? I'm part of it. I'm not saying all, it's not equal. Okay, and I think there are a lot of Muslims, but there are some Muslims, and there are, okay, also come out and Islamic Jihad, who believe Jews shouldn't be there. All this should be Islamic land. Shouldn't have any kind of rule.
Can I retort now?
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying, look, if you were to present this as some kind of a sociological investigation, which is basically the idea that, you have this idea of metaphysical exceptionalism, religious exceptionalism, which is that you believe that someone is intrinsically advantaged for believing in X things and that he will be in heaven and the other person will be in hell, all that kind of stuff. Call it what you like. Soteriological exceptionalism, metaphysical exceptionalism, eschatological exceptionalism, or all of the above. Now, what is it in null hypothesis? In other words, if you want to make a comparison, there needs to be something to compare to. So in other words, if I'm saying to you now, if you remove religious exceptionalism, what do you put in its place? You put maybe universalism, which is maybe what you're, or perennialism. The idea that there's all pathways to truth. Okay. Now, my question is, how can you prove, if that is your null hypothesis point of comparison, that perennialist people, for example, in any anthropological or sociological setting, will have a lesser proclivity to starting wars and causing violence than people who are non-soccer. Let me give you an example. We're living in the UK. Let me just make it close to home. Yeah? We're living in the UK. There's 1 million Muslims in London. Okay? Which is, there's like what? 10 million people and maybe 9 million people according to the census. Okay? So the majority of people, overwhelming majority are not Muslims in London. Yeah, I think you'd agree with this. Maybe 15% are Muslim and the rest are non-Muslims. So the vast majority. The UK, 50,000 people according to national statistics, 50,000 people get stabbed a year. Now that's almost 4,000 people a month or something like that, right? Now I would like to posit to you and submit to you that the reason why people are stabbing each other in this very country is not due to religious difference or because of some kind of eschatological exceptionalism. I'm going to say to you that people stab each other because of gang warfare and because of what is referred to in psychology as in-group, out-group dynamics. Human beings, in and of their nature, will cause violence, yes, will cause violence from whatever reason, because these are the others and therefore they need to be attacked. So what I'm saying is, whatever you try and replace religious metaphysical exceptionalism with, you'll still be left with the human psychological proclivity, yeah, to cause violence as a result of difference. So what I'm saying is that your efforts here are in vain and they're fruitless, because actually what we should be focusing on is not whether or not in-group, out-group dynamic type thinking is going to happen with human beings. In fact, the tribal nature of human being is something that is almost uneradicatable from the human psyche. I believe so, based on the fact that there's strong psychological evidence that that's what we need as human beings in order to self-actualize or to be psychologically in a better state. That we can have identification markers that demarcate us from other human beings. What I'm saying, therefore, is that the answer is not to try and eradicate all those markers of difference. The answer is, how do we work mechanistically within our own areas of difference with other people, with different people? Me as a Muslim, you as a Jew. The answer is not like I have to believe that you're going to go to heaven, even if you don't believe in Prophet Muhammad. I don't have to believe any of that. I can believe you're going to go to hellfire and stay there all your life. But still believe, it's not a contradictory belief for me to believe in that, and also to believe that I have to be good to you and kind to you. And that I give you exact rights that I would give any Muslim neighbor, any Muslim friend, or whatever it is. I can still operate in the same.
I'm going to hell. That's interesting.
Yes.
I'm trying to eradicate.
You can even Islamically, a Muslim man can marry a Jewish or a Christian wife. How can you answer me this one question? How can you have a Christian or Jewish wife? No. She stays Christian or she stays Jewish. She stays Christian. She is Christian.
Well, you can't have a Christian husband.
No, I know, because we don't believe in gender equality in the same way as feminists second wave would believe in it. And also because of assimilation. Yeah, there's other reasons. But the point is this. If I say this, if a Muslim man marries a Christian woman, Islam doesn't say he can't love her. Islam actually, in fact, Islam indicates that you can love them and there's no sin in that. How does Islam indicate that? When Abu Talib, who was the Prophet's uncle, they loved each other. The Prophet was very much grieved by his death. Allah revealed, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. That you will not guide who you love, but Allah guides whoever He will. So Allah affirmed that He loves, the Prophet Muhammad loved this Abu Talib who ended up dying as a pagan. The point being is, and in fact, there's narrations that he'll be in the hellfire. So you can love someone that you're going to think is going to be in the hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ loved his uncle. A man can love his wife, whether she's Jewish or Christian. And this is what the scholars refer to as al-hubb al-tabi'i, that natural love. Natural love is something like, imagine you have a mother that's a Christian or a Jew. Many reverts have this situation. It doesn't mean that you're going to hate them now. No. So I think we have to demarcate the eschatological dimension or the soteriological dimension with the worldly dimension. If we're able to do so, that's fine.
Okay, there are 2 points there. First of all, I'm trying to eradicate the in-group thinking, not difference. I want multiculturalism. I don't think we need to look or sound differently. But yes, in-group thinking, with religion is only one of the proponents of, is what brings a lot of the strife. I don't have in-group thinking. I don't love people in my group more than others. I live in Israel. I don't like Israelis more like Palestinians.
I beg to differ. I think you're deceiving yourself with that. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Have you got children?
Yes, I do.
All right. Imagine now you walk in the street, yeah? I mean, you got a son, yeah?
Yeah.
How old is he? Older, like?
He's 18.
Okay, imagine now he's 12, 10. You see 2 people drowning in the sea. Your son and another boy. That's exactly the same age. Okay? Are you with me now?
Yeah.
And you can only save one. Who are you going to save?
Well, the first question, what God wants me to do.
Now, what are you going to do? Just let's be honest.
No, I will try to do what God wants me to do.
What are you going to do? 2 people are drowning, your son and another 10-year-old who are the same age. Who are you going to go for?
But let me give you the reason. My son, because I brought him into this world.
Okay.
That's not in group thinking.
Okay.
That's for individuals I brought into this world. The responsibility I have for that from God, from nature, is something else completely.
Okay, let me retort. Okay. What you've done is you've given a reason, yes, which is why would you prefer your own, biological own, over somebody else, and then you've offered a justification. Hold on. You've offered a justification. Now no problem, but the fact that you've offered a justification doesn't nullify the fact that you have the preference. The justification does not stop the fact. Now what I'm saying is, therefore, every human being in their nature is going to think like this. Most human beings, I'm not saying every single. Most human beings will do what you've done. If you saw your son, who's 10-year-old, and another 10-year-old drowning, you go for your son, even though if you can only save one. I don't think that's wrong. You feel like there's an added responsibility that you have over your own son because he's in your family, than the other one because of whatever reason you brought him into the world because your semen was the reason why he became into the world, which others would say is inconsequential. But what I'll say is this. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. But what I'm saying is, now, at what point does that reasoning start to become illegitimate? As Muslims, we say that in group thinking.
After I stop children.
Why? How?
What? Because.
Why? If your mum was drowning,
you know
and a woman, if your mum was drowning,
yes.
and another woman let's say your mum is, let's just say 70 years old. Another 70-year-old woman was, you have to save one. Who would you save?
I don't know. Again, I have to say.
What would you do?
Can I answer for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Obviously, I'm Ashkenazi Jew. A lot of my children, my dad's side, parents in the Holocaust, my mom's side watching the story. Well, we have righteous among the nation. We have this big museum called Yad Vashem and thing. Mostly Polish Catholics, all kinds of non-Jews who were in terrible occupation themselves by the Germans, who went out of their way, sometimes risked their lives, to save Jews. If they had it in group thinking, no Jews would be saved by them. So when I think about it, some of the people are, why do you fight so much for Palestinians? Why do you worry about your own? How can we give you charity for Palestinian kids? What about your own? I say, if I think that in group thinking, that doesn't bring love in the world. If I'm just taking all the charity, all the zakah, all the things, I'm doing just for my people. Yes, there's a big price to pay. It doesn't bring. I mean, what would I expect someone else also to do only for them? What would you be admiring more? Christian, helping out as a Christian, or going out of his way to help a Muslim?
Okay,
wouldn't you appreciate it and say, wow, that's an amazing guy?
I understand, but you've kind of veered away from the topic at hand.
Did I?
Yeah, because what I'm saying is I'm trying to show you that which you are trying to argue against is that which you have a proclivity to still. What I'm saying to you, even
I have an ego. I'm trying to take
hold on.
Where's it coming from?
No, but it's a moralization. You made a justification.
When it children, yes.
Child, yes, and your mother?
My mother was deliberating. But again, if I make a
let me ask you a question.
But I just want to say, if I do something out of ego, that doesn't mean
give me a second.
I believe God wants it. Maybe I'm my ego.
Give me a second. Say you've got a neighbor, call him Bob, and you got another individual.
Yes.
Your Bob is 30 years old.
30?
Yeah. Forget about race or religion. Bob is drowning, another person is drowning there. You can only save one. Who are you going to save?
I don't know. Bob's my uncle? No, I'm kidding. Wait, one I know and one I don't know?
One is your neighbor.
My neighbor?
Yeah.
I think I'll try to take other considerations. Who's more at risk? Who's like
no, but same. Everything is the same.
I don't know if I need. Look, I also don't know. But
he's calling your name as well.
What? I'm sure. I did try to interfere there right away.
Listen,
I don't know them. Look, but
you're
asking me what I'm doing. I'm asking a kid. I ask what. You know why I stopped thinking? What does God want me to do? That's what I keep thinking.
Well, what does God say in the Old Testament about the neighbor?
Love thy neighbor.
Okay, great. So
but the way I understand it is love everyone. You, my neighbor, as well.
No, I understand. But let's say your actual neighbor, your next door neighbor.
I don't know if it's literally.
Okay, great.
In the Hebrew, there's no neighbor. Right?
Okay, fine.
Hebrew, it's racha, which is friend, who knows, maybe in group.
Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do with you here? I'm trying to say this fake.
No, but what's it? You're saying you have an ego and sometimes you prefer your own. Maybe, but I'm not trying to make God. God has 8 billion people.
Jesse,
bro. He doesn't prefer.
Jesse, when you are moralizing,
yes,
you are saying I brought my son into the world. That's why I would save him over that one. Okay, you offered a justification for a type of in-group thinking.
I gave a reason. No, I gave a reason why God wants me to do it. God doesn't prefer my son to someone else. He doesn't prefer Bob to someone else. That's for sure. Okay?
Okay.
God doesn't like me more than he likes you.
No, we're not talking about that.
No,
we're talking about practical implications. That's what you're talking about.
What would you do during the time of stress? Would you have God, or would you just do what you want to think? Maybe. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I never, but I can say that I certainly try to be outside in-group thinking. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think that's what makes me a good person. If I take care of my own, I think it's a business when I take care of someone else. Now, not only it doesn't mean I can neglect. Charity does begin at home. I can't neglect my own children, which I brought up. Okay.
You can't, can you?
No, that I can't.
Okay.
But if I wait.
Do you know, if you take this idea to its logical extreme, there's a guy called Peter Singer, yeah? Have you heard of him? He's a utilitarian. He's making utilitarian arguments. And one of the things he said was that if you eat food like an extravagant meal, you're killing kids in Africa or something like that, right? But if you think about it, that money could have been given. You see,
that's a butterfly effect.
no, hold on.
Okay.
If you think clearly about what he's saying, yeah, he's saying if you look at causes and effects, and if you look at the fact that you have this money, which could otherwise, there's an opportunity cost with the money, right? You have, let's say, £100. Do you go to a restaurant sometimes with your wife?
I mean, divorce. Yeah, I did.
Or the ex-wife? Did you used to go? Maybe that's where the divorce happened. Sorry to say, no, I'm joking. But let's say you go to a kosher restaurant with your wife, yeah, or your ex-wife, or whatever, or your new wife,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. And you sit there and you eat some meats or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Now, do you feel like you're killing people?
Well, an animal was killed.
No, not human beings.
Humans?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, because if you take it to its logical extreme, you are pleasing your ex-wife or whoever it is at the expense of money that could otherwise have been used for charity for Africa. And I'm not saying you're wrong for going to the restaurant, by the way. I'm just saying this idea of in-group, out-group. If you take it to its extreme, everything that you do will have an opportunity cost. And if we consider, that's why in Islam, let me tell you, in Islam we have very clear guidelines of who we give money to, who we befriend, how we befriend them, all these kind of things. In terms of charity, for example, start with those who are closest to you. Actually, if you have people in your family who need...
If you start with someone close to you, you'll never get to me. I'm too far. Is that right? We have the same thing, by the way, in the town. Okay?
No, but have you ever thought guilty, or as if you're doing something immoral by eating food and paying money in a restaurant that could have otherwise been given to kids in Africa?
No, because...
Great. Why not?
Well, yeah, first of all, religion do put things, and I'm going to say you can give it a 10th or 5th. You don't give all your money away. Because you're stopped there.
No, I'm not. I mean, on your view, which is not religious anyway.
Okay,
So go ahead.
Look, first of all, because I'm only one message of God, one of 8 billion. I can't save the whole world, okay? I come here, fly in, think I'm going to save the world. I can't. I can a few things, maybe change one mind. Usually not, okay? So, I'm going to give it to my own children. The point is that, so, I'm not going to save the whole world, okay? And yeah, you know, when you're young, American, I say, the children in India, finish your food because children in India are starving. And, okay, but if you finish your food, they won't be starving. So I can try and help. I'm not going to save the whole world. It doesn't mean I don't do anything. I don't know what the problem is. Why not?
Do you disagree that, by the way,
you're saying because I can't save the whole world, so I shouldn't try to do anything?
All I'm saying is this. Your idealistic idea of in-group, out-group preference, which you're trying to eradicate, in reality, you don't live by that. Because if you did live by that, you would have saved the other Kai, you would have tossed a coin before you went and saved...
If I don't live by that, maybe my ego plays a face. Maybe I'm not doing what they're called.
No, bro. Okay. No, listen. You said if there were 2 boys that were drowning in the sea, you drowned and you had only the ceteris paribus, everything was the same, except for the fact that you saved one of them. You'd save your son over the other one because you brought him into the world. I'm saying that that's an in-group type of mentality. You put your family before the collective will of all humanity.
But God gave me
let me finish. Now, number 1. Number 2, you've given that justification. Now I'm saying that... Yeah, all right. We're done now. All right, brother. Okay. By the way, just one question.
Yes.
Do you disagree with the fact that Jews are the chosen people?
Pardon?
Do you disagree with that?
Yes, there's no chosen people.
All right, so you reject your Old Testament?
Pardon?
You reject it?
There was a Holocaust of people being the chosen people, and they tried to eradicate mine. No, there's no people in it. No.
So you reject you're
I reject that aspect.
You're an apostate.
I keep it. I don't know apostate. I keep my religion pretty strict.
All right.
I don't accept
the look of it. Take care, my friend. Yeah?